Happy New Year! It's 2026, and I think it's the perfect time to talk about the benefits of creative expression. In other words, let's start the year good and strong. The truth is that you don't have to be an artist to partake in artistic, crafty, creative endeavors. And just because you aren't an artist, it doesn't mean that there aren't any benefits that art can serve you. It wasn't until recent years that science has truly shown the benefits of art on the brain. Let's start by saying that it is a known fact that uncreative people have marked hemispheric dominance, while creative people have less marked hemispheric dominance. This means that creatives have a more integrated dominance between the brain hemisphere, allowing more interaction between the logical left and the intuitive right. This on its own already tells us so much about creativity and art and how it engages all of the brain in one single activity. With all the progress technology has done in recent years, scientists have been able to study actual physical effects in the brain from visual arts and its use in therapy. In 2011, there was a study made with participants who were ages 62 to 70 years and were retired for at least 3 months, but no longer than 3 years. The study involved an MRI and a 10-week of art class interventions. There were two groups: those who created art and those who cognitively evaluated pieces of art. The intervention for creating art focused on discovering and developing the participants' creativity via different artistic methods and materials, allowing them to experiment and find their own expression. The intervention for evaluating art focused on analyzing, interpreting, and discussing pre selected paintings and sculptures that were then showed to them with an art historian. The participants were giving expert information as well as explaining associations between art and real life experiences to encourage their discussions, while the art itself had a wide range of universal themes like age, love, violence, nature, etc. Those who actively made art showed significant improvement in psychological resilience, while there was no significant improvement in those that evaluated art. These results show that the act of making visual art enhances the functional cognitivity of the default mode network of the brain, specifically between the parietal and frontal cortices. For context, the default mode network, or DMN, is the network in the brain known for being active when a person is not focused on the outside world. It is responsible for a coherent internal narrative related to the sense of self. Think daydreaming, planning the future, remembering the past, contemplating yourself or others. The parietal lobe can be summarized as giving us the ability to perceive and interact with the world. For example, it helps us process touch, language, math, spatial orientation, and coordination. The frontal lobe is responsible for thinking, reasoning, problem solving, and movement. So essentially, this study found that creating art quite literally connects these two lobes and enhances their functions. Now, I do believe I will be butchering this name, so I apologize. But Ocean Vartanian, a neuroscientist from the University of Toronto Scarborough, studied the different ways people process art on a neurological level using the MRI. Some parts of the brain are activated, which we could say are a given, like areas that are meant to recognize visual input, think faces, scenes, locations. However, other parts like emotional processing and our pleasure and reward system are also activated. Furthermore, the area associated with daydreaming, thinking of the future, or memories is also activated. Vartanian states, quote, "So what's happening is that areas associated with more contemplative responses are being triggered automatically when people view art, even if they don't have instructions to judge or think about it critically." End quote. What's most interesting is that these MRI studies don't work like a person standing in front of a picture for however long they need to look at it and contemplate on it. these studies only show quick snapshots of these paintings for no longer than 6 seconds. And yet, all of these parts of the brain are being activated just with that quick glance. It's not just pretty colors and pretty shapes that the eyes get distracted by, but rather many parts of the brain directly correlated to emotion and pleasure reward. Artanian says, quote, "You have this parallel situation where you are deriving a very instinctive pleasure and reward oriented emotion and a more cognitive contemplative response all at once. It can make for a powerful experience." End quote. The neuroscientist also explains that one area actively engaged is the interior insula, which has been associated with experiencing pain, but studies have found that it's more than that, because it is also responsible for pleasant emotions, particularly though ones that are intense. This explains why some people may view an art piece and have a very strong reaction to them. Think crying. Vertanian finishes his thoughts by stating that, quote, "If we put together all of the building blocks, you literally have this well-oiled machine that is set up to enjoy and appreciate art in a variety of ways." End quote. We are no stranger to hearing that art therapy can help with mental health as well. There's this article in the National Library of Medicine from National Center for Biotechnology Information that compares clinical effectiveness of art therapy in people with mental health disorders that are non-psychotic. From these studies collected and compared, art therapy was reported to have significant effects in people with depression, anxiety, trauma, low self-esteem, and other such concerns. If you want more specifics, all information compiled that I used to make this video will be linked in the description box. Some benefits associated with art therapy include developing a relationship with the therapist themselves as well as other members if the therapy is group therapy. Art therapy has shown to help with understanding of the self, the illness, gaining perspective, feeling a sense of achievement, self expression, relaxation, and empowerment. In many cases, it also serves as distraction, which in and on itself can be a very important part of the healing process as it helps to not dwell or overthink, making the situation at hand worse. I myself suffer from anxiety, and it can come up with physical symptoms like shortness of breath or nausea. One thing I did notice is that these symptoms go away when I'm distracted, be it playing a game, talking, reading, or, of course, making art. In short, it should be of no surprise, but it should be reminded that doing art is good for your overall health. So, if anything, be creative this 2026 and get your hands dirty. Thank you for tuning in. Click on the subscribe button down below. Have a magical day.